everyone. Hello, our viewers. Hello, Mr. Wale Olaito. How are you today? I can hear you.
Okay. My, de- my dear sister, Dr.
Hi,
Vicky
how are you?
O, I'm good. It's good to be back. And
It's nice
Elvis,
to
my
be back.
brother, good to see you.
Elvis,
Hello,
how
good
you
evening.
doing?
Well, thank you. How are you? Are we? Yeah, has the program started?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We are on. We are on. We are live now.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
how you enjoying this lockdown?
Well, we have been through this before.
Yes.
If anything, this is well, I prayed last for just 1 week that is scheduled for. If anything, this is child's play compared to what we've been through before. But again, luckily, I'm not in lockdown per se, but I'm still able to go to my job because we're considered
Mm,
um, to be providing essential services and very critical, to the financial industry, and so we're working. So I'm not 100% lockdown. So in that regard, I'm lucky personally, but overall, I know it's not a good thing for the community, and
for the
I pray that we
community.
get and life returns to normal. Yeah.
And Wale Olaito, how you going?
Yeah, I'm good. Just lockdown 4.0, so we've seen this, 3 times,
4.0, I like that.
3 times before now.
Mm,
So we kind of used to it. So we only
mm.
hope that it's going to be, like a very
Only
short
one
one,
week.
as just for
Mm,
a week. Hopefully, that's will be out by Friday. But life goes on. So we've done this. We've done this many times now that we all we all used to it, and we can still live our life and do our work around that. So it's something that it is what it is for now.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, I actually prayed against the lockdown. But you know what? God knows what He's doing. And what can we do? So I believe things will be all right. That's what we all need to hope for. It's just so sad for so many people that are struggling, in terms of financials. Some business owners are just trying to catch up from all the lockdowns last year and then this. So to some, this will be more like a last straw. Though to some of us, it's only 7 days. Oh, 7 days will be all right. But to those people, every second counts, and they are in our thoughts. And the other thing is there's no help. Last time business owners and other people, they had extra help, in terms of job seeker or job keeper
Keepers. Yep.
allowance. But there's nothing at this point. So, yeah, and I think listening to an epidemiologist, if that's the word, epidemiologist, something like that, who was saying that this is going to be a lifestyle for the next 5 to 10 years. And I was like, oh my goodness, can we keep bearing this, not knowing what's around the corner? The last 2 months, it's been one activity or the other, just pushing and getting things done. And then all of a sudden, lockdown. I have a friend who was supposed to be getting married today, was supposed to be married today with 100 people invited. And then that was it, and a couple of other activities I was supposed to participate in this weekend that we couldn't. But what can we do? It's just about um, forging through and just keep going. And the way I see this, and to some of our viewers that may be in the same situation, I know Toronto, they've been in lockdown forever and ever. Malaysia just started their lockdown, total lockdown of the whole country this few days ago. And so many other places, Japan, they're still struggling with it. So there are so many people in the same boat as we are. But it's just about learning to keep moving. I mean, we just need to keep moving. Where we are, if we can visualize it as being in a tunnel, when you're in a tunnel, you just don't stop. You get to the darkest point, you just keep moving, because when you keep moving, the sooner you keep moving, the sooner you get to the end of it and you can see the light. I guess for whomever may be listening and feeling, afraid, scared, anxious as far what are they gonna do, just keep moving. Things will fall back into place. That would be our advice. So let's just catch up on how the week has been, the updates from last week. Elvis, let's start with you.
All right, yeah. Can you still see me? Yep. So it's it's interesting how the Inspector General of the Federation in IGP Baba has given the ultimatum to security operatives to carry out extrajudicial killings in the southeast while launching the operation Restore Peace in Enugu. And he declared, and I read, "Don't mind the media shout. Do the job I command you. If anyone accuses you of human rights violations, the report will come to my table, and you know what I will do. So take the battle to them wherever they are and kill them. Don't wait for another." And I say, interesting, in a country where, people are expressing their displeasure and wanting to see things fixed. The Inspector General thinks, he can muscle his way through, going as far as giving his policemen or the policemen, instructions to carry out killings, to kill people. In this, it's disheartening. I must say, in this current world, you begin to think, is this really possible? But yet, it's happening. Currently, it's happening in Nigeria, and it's so it makes my heart bleed. To be honest. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that caught my attention in the course of the week, and that's what I've shared.
Oh, I mean, that got me speechless. I'm not sure where you got that from. I haven't seen that yet, but that is so sad. That. All right. While your lights on, let's hear yours, please.
Yes, I will just quickly, respond to, the updates given by Elvis. It's so sad that the Inspector General of Police could actually say that, make that, public pronouncement, and for him to even say that, whatever happens, the report would end up on his table, and giving them the assurance that it will probably just throw the reports away. That's quite alarming. But it just need to be reminded that there's international law, and there's, we still have United Nations Security Council, and we still have a lot of human rights, people involved. And there's still a major court, at The Hague in Netherlands. So it needs to be reminded, in case it's not aware of that. It needs to know there's the international law boundaries outside Nigeria. My updates today, the 29th of May, it's exactly 6 years that the current government, President Muhammadu Buhari, he was not inaugurated as the Nigeria's president exactly 6 years ago. So, and also it's exactly 22 years ago that Nigeria returned to democracy after the prolonged years of military, intervention in our political space. So it's interesting. So I saw, to celebrate that, the Mr. Femi Adesina, the special advisor on media and publicity, he wrote an article that titled Buhari's administration at 6, even the blind can see certain things. So that is the title of that essay in commemoration of 6 years of Buhari's, administration. I'm not going to bother you with all the stories in that. It actually went ahead and, about all the achievements of current administration. But there is particular one that, that I would like to share, where he said, despite the overwhelming nature of security challenges, the Muhammadu Buhari's administration is taking some giant strides that make one believe that happier days lay ahead of the country. But that is for those who choose to see the bright and not perpetually gloomy side of things. So so I read the all.
So that was written by Adesina.
Femi Adesina, the special
Femi Adesina.
Yeah, special advisor on media and publicity to.
Okay. Does he live in Nigeria or lives in US or somewhere else?
He lives in Nigeria, and he's been.
What do they say about what do they say about he who pays the piper?
Of course,
he take the tune. Yeah,
he takes the tune anytime, any day.
So obviously, he can. It's not expected that he can do or say anything contrary to what he's saying currently. Of course, he has to dance to the tunes of his paymasters. So that's what it is. He's not objective. For someone who engaged in a lot of criticism, I know Femi Adesina, before being appointed into this position, was very critical of past administrations. So you wonder what has changed. So I'm not in any way surprised or shocked at those comments. It just tells you how people can change quickly when you dangle a few dollars or naira
in front of them.
In front of them. So.
Oh. All right. So for me, one of the things that I wanted to comment on was what Wale mentioned. The other one is about Oyetola, the
is it the governor of Osun State?
Of Osun State.
Okay.
He's the man, the governor of the year. He's been appointed. I mean, he won the governor of the year. I really don't know what that means, but out of them all, at least he's been the one paying his staff in time and a few other things that stood out from the educational system in Osun State when the previous governor was there. I mean, he changed lots of things. He changed a lot of things, not for the better. He just messed things up. So this guy came in and he cleaned it up, even though it was part of the previous administration also as a deputy governor. But when he came in, he listened to the people of the state. And, like the school that I attended, St. Margaret's Full Girls College, this guy, the previous guy, changed that school from girls only school to mixed school, and he chose the same uniform for all the students in the state. And you know, the uniform, brown and creamish color or yellowish color, it looked horrible, it looked dreadful, and they were made with cheap materials, um, extremely cheap. That, you know, the kids just few days into wearing those uniforms, they start, you know, crinkling. You know, the time that you iron that, it doesn't straighten back. That was the kind of uniform. And I heard that it was his wife. It was his wife that was I'll just pause. Okay. It was his wife that was given that contract, his wife or his son. So of course, that was a lot of money for them, sewing uniforms for everyone in the state, for all the students in the state. And all, I mean, everybody was wearing the same thing. You go to Ilesha, the same, Ilefe, the same, Oshogbo, the same, everywhere, wearing the same disgusting looking uniforms. But this guy got there, he put everything back to how it's supposed to be, you know, which made people to be happy, and a few other things that he's been doing. And now he's the one that has been chosen to be the governor of the year. And that made me to think that uh, these people are they are there to do the work. So when we have how many governors in Nigeria, and we have one or two doing what they're supposed to do, and what are the other ones doing actually? So this guy is being celebrated. It's a good thing. We want more. We want more of such. We just don't want one. We want a lot of them. Then the other thing is that, and that got me to, I did a video this morning whereby I talked about the distractors, those people who have platforms that they can use to help out with our agitations and to speak on people's behalf. Instead of them doing that, they're using their platforms to you know, dish out venoms to people. And there are lots and lots of people out there that that's all they look for. That's all they listen to, all these venoms, and they contribute, they advise, they do whatever, and the focus is being taken away from what is more important, that we are getting surrounded, that things are not the way it's supposed to be, that, you know, something needs to be done. So we have all these distractions, and it saddens me. I mean, you listen to some of these people, and you see thousands of people, millions of people watching them and commenting on rubbish, rubbish. You know, I mean, I just felt so, you know, like, guys, can't you see what's going on here? I mean, can't you see? We could hear the inspector of police, director general, director of police, or whatever you want to call him, saying what he vomited, and we are watching. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Welcome, Egbon Yemi. We, okay, welcome.
You and thank you. Good to be with you guys.
I miss you. You just the balance everywhere.
Welcome back, Egbo.
Kulibino. Condition on Nigeria, none. Sorry, I'm actually looking for a place where, yes, okay, I guess I can do it here.
We like the green and the sun at the back there. Beautiful background.
Okay, great. It's probably nice to say a word or two about where I am. It's the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library.
Okay.
And here we have a lot of grains. We have a lot of grains, different structures. Of course, nature is given a pride of place here, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one edifice we are all so proud of. I'm trying to see if you can just have a glimpse of a bit of the place. But the fact is that we have grains, and nature is healthy here. Nature is very healthy here.
That's
It
good.
looks beautiful. It looks
It
It's
looks,
really
it
a
looks
place.
really,
It's really a place. It's a place you must visit on your next trip to Nigeria. Uh, there, it's a place where history is taught, particularly political history. You know, we've
mm,
lost so much. We've lost so much, and I know that a lot of research is going on in these premises. And right behind me, of course, is the hotel accommodation.
mhm,
Uh, you have the swimming pool here. You have the zoo here. The library is here. The museum is here. Uh, there are a lot of artifacts housed in this place. And in the background, you'll probably hear the noise of some animals in the zoo. Well, just a bit
mm,
about it. Just a bit about that.
mm.
So
Wow.
welcome to Abeokuta.
Thank you for at least showing us a little bit of the place, somewhere to visit
Yes,
whenever
and
we
the,
get
the
there.
venom, the venom here is not that much, I must say.
Thank God for that. At least there's a safe place, a little bit
Yes.
of a safe place. Fantastic.
awesome.
So yeah, it's good to have you back on the show. We missed you. Um, And yeah, so it's Rotary Day today for you. So thank you for creating a little bit of time to join us. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
So can you give us a bit of update on your end, please?
Sorry, I'm
I don't want
talking
I don't
about,
want to leave
talking about,
I don't want to leave Wale and Elvis out of this. Hi, guys.
yeah, hi, how are you?
Very well,
Hello,
thank you.
Yegmo.
All right.
Good to see you again.
Is this something to
Good to be
do
in this.
for Paul Harris? Your Rotary function, is that the Paul Harris dinner or what is it?
It's a conference. It's a Rotary annual conference for my district, District 9110, and
Oh,
it's the 39th edition. And a lot of Rotarians are here. Over 1,500 Rotarians are here taking part in this. It's a 3-day thing. So
yeah,
today
no.
happens to be the last day.
Okay,
Wow.
awesome.
So back to Vicky, the poser. You know,
Mm,
just before I started this, the things that ran through my mind that I'll mention. I must confess that I am not proud. I'm not proud to say that fuel tankers are still falling all over the place, spilling fuel and endangering lives. I understand one happened just a day or two ago. And there's a notorious place called Otedola Bridge where we've had quite a number of this happening. The root cause, really, I can't put my fingers on it, but we don't seem to have found a permanent solution to that. So I'm not proud to say that. I'm also not proud to say that kidnappings are still going on around and people are still being forced to pay ransom. I am not proud to say that rifts between trailer drivers and Okada riders are still being settled with cutlasses, cordials, and all. Uh, that I actually had a narrow escape last night. Coming from the rotary thing, I almost got trapped into this little thing. I actually thought they were robbers, and maybe I shouldn't even write off the fact that they might have been robbers. But I had a narrow escape. It was just nice that I was on top speed, and I probably wouldn't have been part of this discussion today.
mm,
It was
Wow.
that close. It was that close. A group of young guys with cutlasses and some other dangerous items almost blocked my vehicle on my way home last night. I was just lucky to have sighted them in good time and increased my speed. Even with that, as that, they still tried to hit, stall the vehicle and all that. But luckily, the car was in good condition, and I had the presence of mind to have gone through this. But this is not to send any panic out there. People are still living their normal lives.
mm,
but there
That
are
was
things that
too close for comfort for me.
it was really, I must confess, it was that close. It was that close for me, yes, last night. But thank God I'm here. I'm not also proud that we're still having power outages, and I do not see a solution in sight concerning this. I don't see a solution in sight. For now, I think I should just stop there.
Now, I have a question to everyone. I read it somewhere that is it the government or the head of the police was saying something in line of no one is allowed to be paying, anyone paying a ransom will be jailed or will be fined or will be whatever. Is that true?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't read that. But if that was said, it probably was said with good intentions, but maybe a bit laughable as well, because I placed the call across, an emergency call across last night, for instance. As soon as I got home, I placed the call across, and that's to the police emergency number. And I mean, I would have expected that somebody could have called me back later to at least reassure me that something was being done or whatever. I don't know how it happens in some other climes, but I would have expected maybe a call to keep my mind at peace, to tell me something is being done. But one thing is, my call was picked. I gave the details, and the man at the other end asked for my name at the end of our discussion, which I told him, and that was it. Till now, I'm yet to hear anything, and I don't know. But for you to make a pronouncement that ransom should not be made, maybe it is a way of forestalling the thing becoming an all-comers affair, a jamboree. If that's the intention behind it, is good enough. But it's also important to see practical things being done to stop this. It's important to see people who have been arrested as a result of this. It's important to see those who have been jailed, prosecuted and jailed for being part of this. We've seen a few people being paraded, maybe, but let's see people in jail. Let the public feel the establishment, the government is on top of this.
Exactly.
I'm not sure we have that yet.
And I will continue on that note. I mean, what you said, we need to see practical things actually being done to forestall these kidnapping situations. Again, look, I agree with you when you say those comments, if they were made. I haven't heard those comments. May have been made, with very good intentions, but we also need to think about the practicability of those comments, in public domain. I think what they are trying to do there is to dissuade, to make the business, so to say, in quotes, unattractive for those who engage in it. A situation where if they kidnap someone and they don't receive any ransom, that'll probably dissuade them from kidnapping the next person. As long as they're getting paid, they will keep doing what they are doing. But the question is, what happens when people don't pay? We've also seen on social media, on the news, where people it's either they haven't got the money to pay or that they refuse to pay, and their lives are just wasted. I was watching a video of a lady who escaped the other day. I think she said her family paid, was it 5 or 10 million naira? and that in her very presence, about 3 or 4 other people were slaughtered, and their parts and their body parts, like the guys were on the phone. I don't know how far it is true, but this lady clearly, I could see she was shaking. That she survived it. They were on the phone to, I'm not sure what are ritualists or whatever, who was negotiating for their body parts, and that these guys were, were like, look, if your family don't pay, we're going to sell your parts anyway. So it's not enough to just make those pronouncements to say, oh, don't pay ransom, and then what happens if people don't pay? How do you protect such individuals to ensure that they are safe? It's said with good intention, but how practicable is it? That's the question.
Yeah, I think it's not practicable. Just to buttress what Egbo and Elvis, have said, it's not practicable. They're just trying to repeat the international line that is common globally in terms of terrorism. America will say the same. We don't negotiate with terrorists. Most advanced countries will say we don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't pay ransom. But we know behind the scenes when, foreign nationals, are kidnapped globally, we know that money exchange hands behind the scenes. We all know that. Like most of these, terrorist groups, we all know that. But that is just the international kind of position. But it's actually laughable that is doing the same thing with a well-established, kidnapping enterprise going on in Nigeria, and the fact that you don't muck around with them. They give you whatever days to pay, and you don't pay. They have first the body part. I saw that video as well that Elvis referenced. It's just quite ridiculous, and they're not looking at. This is within the criminology space. This is called an area they call problem-oriented policing, which means that from time to time you have a situation whereby there's a problem that doesn't fit within the traditional policing, and then you need to come up in a way that address that in specific area. It looks more like there's that problem that has been established, like kidnapping now as a business, and then you'll be able to look outside the box and be able to come up with specific strategies and intelligence gathering and what have you, to be able to tackle that that kind of problem. But I don't see anything being done, and I can't remember anyone the last time they really paraded anyone, for
I think the last time was that guy. I can't remember his name now, and I don't know if Evans. Is he still in jail, or what have they done so far? Has he paid his way out?
I think
that was the last time, and that would have been like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think he's in jail now.
All right. Yeah, it's sad, but let's just let's move on to today's topic, and we'll invite Wale Lighton to take over.
Thank you very much. So today we're discussing, in commemoration of Nigeria return to democracy. Today being May 29, we're discussing restoring Nigerians' lost glory. What can we learn from other African nations and beyond? So that is exactly what we would really want to discuss. We know that we've lost a lot as a country, especially in the last 22 years. So what lessons have been learned, and now can we really catch up with the rest of the world? And also there are many places in Africa. But to really set the tone for the discussion, I will quickly refer to a 2007 interview that a Nigerian had with the great Madiba himself, the late Elder Statesman, late Nelson Mandela. And he said, and I quote, "The world will not respect Africa until Nigeria earns that respect. The Black people of the world need Nigeria to be great as a source of pride and confidence. Nigerians love freedom and hate oppression. Why do you do it to yourselves?" Very thoughtful and provoking words from the late sage. But the question is that, are we too arrogant, as a nation? Are we too arrogant to really learn from others? So that is just, the big poster, and then, we can go straight to that discussion. I will put, my first question, I will put that to Elvis, talking about Nigeria's lost glory, and now we can retake our lost glory. Elvis, is it fair to say Nigeria has lost its past glory, or we are still living in denial? Because, earlier today I read, just a few minutes ago, I read out a press statement issued by the special advisor to President of Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of his boss, becoming the president. You think you're in a different planet when you actually read most of those things there. Have we lost our? Is it fair to say Nigeria has lost its, past glory, and or are we still all in denial about this, the state of affairs?
Well, I would say it is fair to assert we have actually lost our glory. In truth, all a lot of the things that used to project us as a great nation are no longer there. For example, I think it was the days of IBB, and even during the days of late Abacha. We had we were at the forefront of the ECOMOG, where you had problems in other West African nations. Nigeria will be at the forefront. We send our soldiers over to ensure that there's peace in those areas were so well respected. I remember during even past President Obasanjo's time, when a coup was instituted in Sao Tome and Principe, a coup, on just his say-so, President Obasanjo, that government was restored. And that's how well respected Nigeria was at that time. But a country who was that respected and had so much strength, so to say, not to be able to handle his own security situations back home is questionable, is laughable, Wally. And that's in the area of security. The economy is not doing so great. We've discussed here the other time about the brain drain, how a lot of our qualified people are leaving Nigeria, moving to either Europe, America, or other parts of the world. Again, that's because they're not finding it so easy at home. And then, they take the conscious decision to find greener pastures elsewhere. I remember, like when I was a kid, like I remember when when it was said that the Naira was stronger than even the US dollar. The days of our oil boom. I know we have come from, that very, very top, and we have gone down the slope. We've gone. It's almost everything within that space has gone south. There's no area you can even I don't know, you can touch to say, yeah, this area is doing excellently well, or it has improved over the years. A lot of things have just gone wrong that need fixing. So in reality, Wally, yes, we used to be such a great country, well respected across the globe, the most populous nation, black nation all over the world, and that's why we're well known. I even till today, like I was in Rotary one day, and then somebody mentioned of they spoke about a story of someone who won $500,000 in lottery in the US. And then someone made a joke and said, "Oh, look, Elvis, I know." He goes, "This can buy a whole village in your country." And I said to the guy, I said, "Look, you need to actually get educated. You need to do a bit of research and educate yourself about my country." I said, "My country is so richly endowed. We are so rich that is money one politician will slam into the back of his pocket as if nothing happened and just move on." And that's the reality. So we're such a great country. We have such huge potentials that we've been mismanaged to the point that, yet I do agree that we have lost our past glory. And it's not a very nice thing to say, but that's the reality. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And I will go to, and later on, we can all add point along those lines. And I strongly share, Elvis' view in terms of this lost glory. And even as Nigerians, you travel around the globe, when they see you as an African, most times they will ask you, people have asked me many times, they will first, when they see you, the way you carry yourself with confidence, whatever, most times they ask whether you're a South African, because they think probably, because of, they still regard South Africa among, African nation. And in some cases, they will have asked me, whether you are from some of these Caribbean, whatever, because they see that there's something different in you compared to some of the African probably Africans they've met, and in a way they can't really fight so that you just are from Africa or from West Africa. And those that have really traveled very well, they can tell you are from. They will have had cases where people will just say, "Where are you from?" I will guess, and they will say, "They are from Nigeria," and they will tell you they've worked with Nigerians in UK, in whatever. You guys are different. I'm sure we've all had cases like that when people will tell you directly. I can tell when I see a Nigerian because the way you carry yourself and your confidence and everything. So moving on to, I will go to Vicky. In our lifetime, some African countries with similar challenges like ours have reformed and repositioned their countries. What can we learn from them? Are we too arrogant to learn from others? Vicky.
See, I was trying to call your attention, not knowing that I was on pause on when you asked Elvis. See, individually, we are great people. Individually, you look at us all wherever we are situated, even in Nigeria, people they work on themselves, they do well individually. It's just the problem that we have is coming together, working together, and doing something, greater things. Too arrogant to learn from others, I would say yes. And see, confidence is one thing, having confidence. And I remember when I lived in South Africa 20 something years ago. I mean, you compare Nigerians there to non-Nigerians, we're totally different. A place where Africans were, Black Africans were looked down at, were treated really badly and stuff like that. But because of the way we were raised, we were able to go and take over, even though that's not our country, that's not where we were born. We couldn't speak the languages, Zulu or Kosa or Afrikaans, but we still got there. And because of the way we carried ourselves, I remember going into one shop when I first got there, few weeks after I got there, I went to this shop. I gave the woman money, the cashier, my cash, and she was supposed to give me back my change. And she just threw the change on the table because she didn't want to touch me, a white lady. And I just couldn't take that. Any other black will not do anything, will not say anything. But we Nigerians, we are made differently. And I was able to educate her. I was able to tell her off that that was so ridiculous. I gave you the money. You were supposed to give me back my cash. What is wrong with you? She started speaking African language. I mean, the Africans. And I had to say to her, speak English so I can respond back to you. At that stage, South Africans are not able to face white and tell them off and do whatever. So they're quite scared of us because they're not used to Africans, black Africans talking back, black Africans asking questions, which is good, right? But on the other vein, that confidence, that overconfidence is killing us. We all believe that we are the giant of Africa. We grew up listening to that. And I remember the first time I got to Swaziland, not even South Africa yet. I got to Swaziland, a neighbor to South Africa, a small country, very small country. And I look at this place and I'm like, oh my goodness, Nigeria, a giant of Africa. I mean, the road, everything looked, wow, just a small little place, small country. Meanwhile, in the place where I came from, that I grew up listening and hearing and being told that we are the giant of Africa. We couldn't even boast electricity for 24 hours. Meanwhile, Swaziland, a little place, even Lesotho, all those places, little countries, they have electricity. I was in Swaziland a week and a half. There was electricity all through. I couldn't believe it. This is Africa. A giant of Africa couldn't even give me this. I could turn the tap on. Water was running. I couldn't believe it. So we believe all these lies that we've been told. We weren't working on our issues. We weren't working on becoming better than what we are. We just hang on to this story of good old times. When my dad was in university and they were giving them food for breakfast, real food, egg and yam, bread and jam, and whatever else, morning, evening, lunch. And, what's going on? We believe all these things and we are not improving. Instead of improving, we are going down. And not just going down gradually, speed of light. It's the lies that we've been told that made us not to work on our issues. That made us not to focus on what needed to be focused on. That made us to be glorifying and be singing praises of those people that we were supposed to stone. It's those lies. And it's those lies that has given us this false belief that all the other Africans, they are beneath us. We are better than them. We are the giant. Giant of what? So my brother, pride.
Yeah.
And pride. Individually, we are fantastic. We have this drive that is so huge, but we cannot transfer that into group, into the whole, to the people, into our own people. That's the sad part. I mean, that's my own analysis.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to say something, Elvis?
Yes, yes, and I'll bring another perspective into it as well. So at the national level as well, yeah, I think Nigeria, where the country is right now, should borrow a leaf from our neighboring countries where things have actually gone berserk, and use that as a yardstick, not to let what's happening in Nigeria, to escalate further than it has already. The Bible says, and like from a fig tree, you learn a parable. You don't allow things to actually happen to you before you learn. You can learn from other people's mistakes and try to fix your own issues. I mean, we have heard stories of South Sudan. We have heard stories of Liberia, Sierra Leone, Congo, and all such countries. We shouldn't allow that happen in Nigeria. I mean, no country is too big to fail. America thought it was too big. I think it was around 2008, 2009, just before the financial crisis, the global financial crisis. They could have stopped what was happening, where the mortgage man, or what we call them brokers here, was selling mortgages to people who didn't have any. They called it at the time ninja loans. No income, no jobs, no assets. You sell a loan to someone who has no job, no capability, only because you're interested in that commission. And then those in that space as well will convert those mortgage securities into asset-backed securities and sell them on as stocks in Wall Street. But they knew there was problem somewhere. And the credit rating agencies were giving these asset-backed securities A rating, triple A rating, that people could now go and purchase them because they had given that triple A rating. And, they knew there was a problem somewhere, and someone couldn't just figure it out to say, where is this problem? We know something is wrong somewhere, but they thought America was too big to fail. And what happened? We had the global financial crisis that affected the entire world. So Nigeria is not too big to fail. Nigeria should borrow a leaf from what has happened in these other countries and try and fix its own problem. We're at the point where it's glaring that we're on the brinks of collapse. I'm sorry to say, but that's the reality. The level of insecurity we have at home now is one that people in the positions of authority should look at and say, we don't want another Rwanda here. We don't want another South Sudan. What can we do to fix this? So I think, they're probably thinking Nigeria is too big to fall into that category. But with the way things are going, it's very doubtful. Very doubtful. So we should.
Thank you very much, Elvis. I will go to Egbon now, knowing that we've got Egbon here for now, and he could move on any time. And he has said this many times there that we are not trying to actually reinvent the wheel. He has said that many, many, many times, that we can learn a lot from other places and try and solve our problems. So, talking about that, so Egbon, you're free to digress into some of the previous questions in answer. But this specific question is we've all heard about Lee Kuan Yew, LKY of Singapore. In celebration of his achievements, Mr. Yew titled second volume of his published memoirs, From Third World to First, the Singapore story from 1965 to year 2000. LKY engineered Singapore's economic miracle. When is Nigeria going to have a master builder and a pragmatist as a leader to rescue Nigeria from this absolute mess that we found ourselves? We thought we had one in 2016. Actually, we all thought we had one when the current president, in 2015, when the current president came to power with the change agenda. Yeah, when are we going to have our own pragmatist like LKY and a master builder as a leader? Egbon?
Those who saw tomorrow knew we were not there in 2015. Those who were students of history screamed that we were heading the wrong way. Those who were genuinely passionate and who took their time off to check things knew we were about to make an error. But we didn't listen. We didn't listen. We were also probably forced into taking that emotional decision, maybe on the hopeful side, because of what was happening then. But I guess we all know better now. But I would have expected that people who went through that experience for 4 years would have had a rethink. My consolation has always been, however, that what we have as election results are not necessarily the wish of the people. I console myself with that. So we can as well just say, well, when will we have it's a big question. It's a big question because I'm not too sure whether we are ready. I'm not sure whether we are ready to make that change. And even if we are ready, would our desire be allowed to reflect in a situation where you have a gang up of very powerful, self-centered, greedy, uncaring, cold-blooded people in power dictating the tunes of things. So you now ask yourself, when will voices come together and say enough is enough, apart from little whispers in our bedrooms? But this certainly cannot go on forever. I keep the Yorubas are wise. Tí ìlú bá ń dún ládùn jù, ó máa yá ni. When you start beating a drum so hard, so in high pitch, in high tempo, endlessly and ceaselessly, it will cave in, it will break, the skin will tear. That is where we are heading right now. You know, there are lessons, and you rightly recollect, Wale, there are lessons out there to learn. It is too much trouble even attempting to reinvent the wheel. But also, I want to note that maybe it's out of pride or whatever. We probably believe we are the best in Africa. So we don't go for things to learn from our neighbors. But very tiny miniature moves or achievements or pronouncements from the West are embraced here. Once it's America, once it's Europe, we try to copy such. But even if we copy like decent students. Even if we must copy with open hearts, with the desire of achieving the ultimate, with the desire of positively changing the circumstances here. But when we go about it, just because we believe such acts would benefit self, that is the problem we have. And that's the problem we will continue to have. Madiba was right. So much is expected of this country, Nigeria, because the resources are enormous. The human resources are so much that we can afford to let so much go out there. I keep saying it. There are 4 of us. Three brilliant brains have been allowed to escape our shores all the way to Australia. And that is why we are now struggling to tap from your experiences there. That is why we are in this situation. But we will continue to work at it. Giving up is not an option. It is not an option. I was listening to something Vicky posted about Pastor Bakare. I listened to it and it made a whole lot of sense to me. It made a whole lot of sense to me. We just need to stay and fix. In actual fact, the incident that happened to me last night told me whatever I as an individual can do to put things right, I must do. Because that was me. What would have happened if it was any of my sons and they were helpless? What would have happened? So personally, I intend to follow up with the police, for instance, and get an update. I place the call. What happened? What was done? What did you do? Let us judge. So we need to stay and fix. At the same time, for those of you out there, you can't afford to give up. Maybe you've taken enough time to do this. I was also watching what Vicky posted, and even in the midst of that celebration and dancing and all that, Elvis was still stressing the Nigeria we want. I felt so proud about that. Vicky was echoing it. Even in the midst of dancing, even in the midst of Kwamwan, Anuni Moriba, he was still making reference to the Nigeria we want. The Nigeria we want is the Nigeria where basic amenities are available and affordable and are in working order, where the resources of this country are put to the use of the society to make us feel better and feel proud to be citizens of this country, where leadership is honest and transparent, where opportunities are given to all and sundry, and key positions are not zeroed to a particular part of the country. It brings agitation. It makes people restless. It makes people want to kick because they are not dumb. They see what is happening. And for as long as we do this, for as long as we do not sit down and say, let us get this thing right. I was having a discussion with somebody and we were talking about constitutional review. The first thing the guy said was that you cannot build a structure on nothing. Listen, you are reviewing falsehood. That is the summary of it. You are reviewing falsehood. You are reviewing a document that said the people of Nigeria decided blah, blah, blah. Which people? How many of us were in uniform? How many of us sat at that table? And you don't have a working document that people have trust in. So where do you head from there? Where do you go from there? Don't let me take too much of your time. We need to decide what we want. We need to work at it, jointly implement it. And as Vicky said, yes, individually, we are great people. In some little groups and collections, we are still great. But we shouldn't have to wait for football and football alone to unite us. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ego.
Sorry, Wale.
Yeah,
This
go ahead,
morning,
Vicky.
yeah, this morning I was just thinking about it all, after I made the video. And I thought that what is my headache, Papa, with this Nigeria, we want the Nigeria and everything like that. That what is it? What am I looking for? Now I thought my mama no dey there anymore. My papa no dey there. They are both resting in peace now. My siblings, they're all over the place. They're not in Nigeria. So why am I stressing? Why am I stressing now? Why all this? I mean, for a couple of hours, I was putting together our entry video and stuff like that. I wanted us to have a new one and stuff like that. So I just kept on asking myself that same question, that what is it really? The people that are living there, they are not, it's like whatever happens that kind of body language, that kind of attitude, which is the reason why if we're here talking about Elvis don't be the wife tire, you see thousands of people watching and listening and commenting and advising. While your life, if you see what he do yesterday, he drank himself tire. Even though whether it's a lie or whatever, it's like we are what we use our brain for is not something that is adding value to the community, to the growth, collective growth. And it saddens me. So I asked myself the question that even people that everybody they are there facing this fear of being kidnapped, facing this fear of thieves coming to their houses, facing the insecurity, facing the bad governance, what are they doing actually? They're doing nothing. So wait to be your own, Bukola. I was talking to myself. Then I thought about it, and I remember each time my daughters, they are more keen about visiting Nigeria, going to Nigeria, living in Nigeria, getting to know their people, speaking the language, They will ask me, how do you pronounce this? What do you do when this? They are keen because they want to, you look at Americans. I have some American friends that want to be, they want to kind of adopt Nigeria as their country. You know what I mean? Because they're tired of being killed, of being belittled by whites in America, right? But we have this place, it is ours. And we're not protecting what we have, we're not treating it well. And whatever you're not taking care of, you definitely lose. And I thought, this is not about me anymore. It is about my children and their children. So whatever that I can do in my own little way with this voice that I have that is going crooked, I have to do whatever I can just to keep hammering it, keep getting it out there. Because if we don't do it, who will? If we don't do it, we are part of the problem. That's just the way, that's the answer I gave myself, Shao. I'm not sure about you guys, but that was the answer that I gave myself. And one way or the other, people, I'm not sure about you, but every time almost every day, I get asked, where are you from originally? Where are you from originally? And proudly, I do say it again and again, I'm from Nigeria. But if Nigeria disappears, where will I be? Because no matter what, that is still home.
Thank you very much for that. Vicky. Look, people the same. I saw the video, about the venom, and I saw that earlier today, and I share your views around the fact that we're becoming very petty, and that level of pettiness sometimes in terms of what people pay attention to, is you think that what's really going on despite all the problems. But I can see the other side as well. The other side is that people are traumatized and they need to keep a kind of escape for themselves. And no matter how irrational it could look sometimes, but I see it as their own kind of interlude, like we all do. You declare a bit of, even in drama, one can educate us more in this. You'll see a kind of interlude in between and a bit of comical kind of thing that I introduced to just calm the situation down. So sometimes that is the way I've been able to just say, okay, people are just tired in a way that is either this one is taking another person's wife, that could become a topic, and you see 10,000 comments and 15,000 shares on that same thing. And you could talk about Nigerian problem and do a lot of research and bring a professor to talk about it, and hardly you see 100 people watching. But we continue to do what we do. I'll move straight to Elvis now, and talking about, and that we follow the comments around people. It's about the next question is around the leader and the led debate. Continue. Are we not focusing too much on the political leadership while allowing bad behaviors in other areas of the society?
Well, when the head is rotten, I don't think we should expect anything better from the rest of the parts of that body. I know there have been arguments. I've heard, I've heard comments like the change you want begins with you. Whilst that is a reasonable comment to make, it's also not very practicable. And the reason why I say that is this: you can't push you don't push a man to the wall and you expect him to open that wall and keep moving. People have to fend for themselves. I mean, in a country where we have so much, there's plenty to go around. And, it just ends up in the pockets of very few individuals. What do you expect the masses to do? They have to look for a way to look after themselves. Look, I'm not encouraging bad behavior here or crime, but this is only natural. If you take away social security here in Victoria, that you and I are, think about the chaos. Think about what's going to happen. If you take away the support government provides to those who are less privileged or haven't got a job or due to one reason or the other cannot fend for themselves, take that away from them. Take away the social housing. My brother, there'll be chaos in this country. My people are just reacting to the situation they find themselves in. I've said it on this program before. I know the comments, like our fathers, our grandfathers used to make back in the days. You don't bring disgrace to this family. The name of this family is like gold. You don't tarnish it, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's interested in ill content. I learned, how many years ago was it? This guy was indulging in some fraudulent activities, and then he bought a really nice car and took it home to his father. You know what? His father said, no, I'm not going to ride in that car. Take it away wherever you got it from. Just take it with you. I'm not going to ride in that car because I don't even know, for starters, I don't know what you do for a living. So I'm not going to be accepting these gifts from you. Recall, we spoke about COVID at the beginning of this program. Recall when COVID first started here, and people were rushing into the stores to buy the foodstuffs and clear the shelves of toilet tissues. And I don't even know what it is with them with tissues. Even this lockdown we have now, people are going into the shops to clear the tissue. I'm saying, what is it with tissues that you anyway? They went in, they cleared all, and the gun rate, the gun license application rates increased. I think the first week was about 1,500 people went in to apply for gun licenses. The next week, another 2,000 applications that the government had to stall it and say, no, don't issue these licenses anymore. You know what? People were actually scared. They thought the world was coming to an end. And they were, envisaging a situation where, they'll be attacked. People will come to them to maybe rob them for food or for whatever. If the whole of Melbourne is scrambling to clear the stores, to buy everything off the shelves, who knows what's going to happen? And people were buying guns to protect themselves and their families. It happened in the US too. So why am I saying this? Where if we had generated into the area that those who are buying those guns were anticipating will be, there'll be mayhem. There'll be lawlessness. And then people were buying guns to protect themselves. So if I relate it to what's happening back home, that's the only way our people can ideally just, survive. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but what do you expect of a man who is hungry? I've seen instances where people go into the shops and they're stealing, either a can of milk or baby food because they need to feed their baby. It's probably not their intention. That's not what they would do. But because they have been so pauperized, they can't fend for themselves, and the government that is supposed to be providing for them, has failed them. We just got to find a way to survive. That's the way I see it. It's not as if, yes, our people, I always speak about the cost and effect. What is the cost? And that's the effect you're seeing. The cost is the government has failed in their duty to look after the people, to provide them social security. With all the monies that we have read about, we have listened to on the radio that people pocketed individuals, monies that they don't actually need, monies that their fourth or 10th unborn generations cannot expend. Somebody will snatch that money away. Money that can change lives in Nigeria. The sort of wealth that Nigeria possesses is, if not for mismanagement, is sufficient for the government to even be able to pay social security to our people, as they pay here, as they do in Canada, as they do in the US. We are that rich, but because we're mismanaging these funds, or people who are the helm of affairs are mismanaging these funds. People, when they think about the situation where a woman who sells tomato in a Malto market, for instance, struggles to train her son, through the university. This boy, has graduated, expecting to get a job, of course, because he hasn't got a godfather or someone to look after him. Still ends up coming back to fend for himself in his mother's kitchen. He's just going to kill that young man. The next thing is he starts thinking of how to survive. How am I going to help this my old lady who has toiled all her life, struggled to send me through school? I need to do something for her. If it's Yahoo that comes his way or whatever they do, they want to survive. Is ideally, I believe that ideally is not the intention of that such a person, but because he can't help himself, he looks for alternatives. So yes, the bad behavior is there. Yeah, our people indulge in bad behavior, but rather than look at the bad behavior that they indulge in, I've been looking at what is the cause of that bad behavior. What has the government done to create employment, to support businesses, even roads, like provide good roads, or even NEPA, the electricity there, like somebody can open a barbering salon and people say and make money out of it, but buy the equipment, open the barbering salon, you probably are not going to get lights to run the business, and you have to survive. You have rents to pay. Perhaps it could be someone who's married. They have children to look after that go to school. When they get sick, they go to the hospital. You need to put food on their table. You need to put clothes on their back. How do you do it? I'm not saying it's the right course of action, but not everybody has the ability to say, yes, look, I'm going to do business. I can do this or I can do that. Some people are just made to go, to their 9 to 5 and come back. And I've seen instances of a lot of people who were indulging in one thing or the other, and then once they find themselves overseas, they're like, oh look, I was doing that because I didn't have an option. Now I'm chasing my paper. I have a work. Even if it's a cleaning job, while he's able to send money home, just cleaning to his parents or his relatives, or to even acquire a block of land back home. He can do that, but he's left that life behind because he is now in a system where he can actually expend his energy and do something good for himself. So it is the inability of the government to provide an enabling environment for people to either do businesses or create employment for them that drives people into this bad behavior.
Thank you, Elvis, and I know exactly where you're coming from, and you've been able to substantiate your points strongly, and we don't even need to look further. Even in the western part of the world, you see situations bringing the worst out of people. For example, when you have like protests and there is a breakdown of law and order, you see people go into shops and bringing out looting and bringing out stuff, and you see people that ordinarily when you ask them, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have actually gone to that extent. Where you see a lot of people that they were still, well, I don't even know what happened. They just see themselves going to shops. But there's also the other side of when we have within established corporate world, where we have people that they are well established and they are leaders and they are providing. We had a good example recently with the First Bank, the board of directors up to the chairman and everything. In the First Bank, one of the major banks in Nigeria, that we had a lot of what really happened in that bank, and now they messed up, stakeholders, shareholders and everything, and some of those decisions that make. These are not people that are still looking for bread and butter or to eat. These are people that even by Nigeria standard, they are billionaires, but you still see some of those decisions they made around people's money, and now they really, that lack of accountability and that level of corruption and misgovernance that happen at that affairs. I think in a way, we need to share that along as well as we focus on the government, the corporate towards another people as well. Whatever, when there is anything going on in that sector, we should be able to reflect on that. So we've got a few comments. There is Gabriel Omoni Ikoka. In Nigeria, public officials have the table manners. They don't talk when eating at the table. That's a very good one from Gabriel Omoni Ikoka. Thank you. And to other viewers at home, we're talking about restoring Nigeria's lost glory. We've got our WhatsApp number. You can join us there. I saw my brother online before joining us. He lives in Abeokuta. Joining us online, Mandela. So I'll move on now. I'll move on. We've lost Egbon, so there's a question for Egbon, but I'll move that on to Vicky. Okay, I'll put this one to Vicky. We continue to pray vehemently for solutions to man-made political problems. Is religion part of our problems? Has it damaged psyche of many of our people?
Definitely yes. I'm a Christian myself. I'm a born again Christian, but I can say 100% with 100% assurance that religion is part of our problem in Nigeria. When we're supposed to focus our attention on, see, there's something that I do say all the time, which is about the gift that God has given us. He has given us this gift of being able to think. Our brain, it's a processor. Just like we all have computers that we're sitting in front of right now, and that has a processor that processes a lot of things every single day. We type in, we start eating, we whatever we do there. Our brain is even more powerful than that. If God doesn't want us to use our brain, He wouldn't have given us this brain. He gave it to us for us to use. But sometimes we just put those brain into our pocket and we just keep praying and keep praying for what this can easily resolve. And God has given us this because He doesn't want us to be bothering Him with everything that we can use this for. Unfortunately, we, things that can be that the government is supposed to do, we go to the church to start praying about it. And then we give power to spiritual leaders. We award them this, we put them on this throne to the extent. The last time I was in Nigeria, I met someone who was spending every day of the week at church. Every day of the week. And also on weekends. I mean, this person will go to church for prayer meeting and then will stay behind and do night vigil, rush back home, get ready for work. Just tell me, what kind of work would that person be doing? The person will get to work and keep working in the evening, will never go home to church again, choir practice, from choir practice to night vigil again till the following morning. And that's what people are doing. They are expected to do this because if you don't, on Sunday, the pastor will make you feel like you've backslided. So people are doing it and they just keep pushing and keep pushing to make the pastor happy. And then imagine the person that is spending every day of the week at the church for night vigil and whatever else is not being productive at work, because there's no way you can be your 100% when you haven't had the right amount of sleep, recommended hours of sleep. There's no way. It's like you being under, you've traveled on the plane and then you come back, you've gone to another part of the world, and you get there, your sleep pattern will be will be in disarray. That's why we have jet lag. So now imagine feeling that jet lag non-stop. That's what our people are doing. So thinking and using this becomes something that they just put in their being and focus their energy on. God, give me this. God, do this for me. God, do this for me. God, do this for me. And if God is not answering because He has already given you brain, you just keep praying and keep praying. So religion is a big problem. Some people might be watching this and be shaking their head that what is wrong with this woman? But it is a big problem. It is a very big problem.
Thank you very much, Vicky. As you said, you actually nail it. In terms of, we're talking about mostly man-made problems, and you made reference to the fact that God has given us, these, heads of different sizes,
Exactly.
with brains for us to use and not to really bother Him with some of our, our problems. But obviously, it's an issue that it cut across, religion, different religious groups, and then it cut across even different socio-economic background. Even sometimes I've seen people that I know that, and it's people that I know that they are scientists by every standard, and they are PhD holders and they are professors, and you still see some things they actually believe that they post. And I know it's a very, very sensitive topic in terms of people's belief. But sometimes I think when I see some of those comments, I say, if this guy is a scientist, really, that is actually a professor, and then he's still thinking this way, I know there's a lot of problem. I know there's a lot of problem in terms of what is even going to impact on the students. It has been a problem. I know, it's a major problem. So Egbon, it's good to have Egbon back here.
Sorry, Wale.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks ago, there was a post from Additional, the spokesperson for media spokesperson for Buhari.
Yep.
something additional, who commented on what Kumuyi wrote around that time. I can't remember precisely what it was, but when I read it, which I can't remember exactly what it was, but I made a comment on my page about it that what is wrong with this guy, you know? So if now we should listen to Kumuyi, because Kumuyi made a reference to you know, government and God, and how God is going to resolve things and stuff like that, which is what we pray for. But at the same time, he was saying what we should all listen to what Kumuyi said at that time. So I made a comment that what is wrong with this guy? Is he okay? You know, is he okay? Why is he referencing Kumuyi for us to listen to Kumuyi? So who is Kumuyi now? Why did we have government, right? My brother, who is a content director director in at TVC, sent me a message and said, Auntie Buki, we are too controversial. You are too. What, I don't know why you talk like this. You know, like I know that you just said it the way you felt. That people are quite, Nigerians are quite. They feel a little bit offended, you know, when you make comments like that, you know, when it comes to their religious leader and whatever. And I'm like, it's true. I mean, that's the way I see it. So why did I bring that in? It's the same thing if it's somebody else, another leader, geo somewhere, making such comments. It's the same thing. And that's the way I feel. And that's the way some people, some other people do feel, that we have political leaders, we have spiritual leaders. And when some of the issues that people are now having with Redeem and all that kind of stuff was what happened in 2015, I believe, and their trust that, okay, they've been sold this and they expect more. And instead of getting a lot out of it, things are getting worse and getting worse. So I'll just leave it at that, not to waste too much time.
Thank you very much. And also, I'll put this to you. You can respond. You know, the last question I put to Vicky was around, you know, the role of religion in terms of how it has actually bastardized, you know, in my opinion, it has bastardized our psyche, that it's even difficult to really even have rational debate with people, even with most well-educated people, without really offending people, as, you know, Vicky said, and as we allude to ascribing solutions to all our problems, to mostly man-made problems, to God to solve all these problems for us. So you can add your own views on that. But my specific question to you now is around the fact that, you know, from change to next level. You know, APC, you know, campaign on that change in 2015. And then in 2019, we step up to next level. And this is 2021 now, and all the promises. What really went wrong with APC, Egbon? And their promises.
First, let me.
Can you start again, Egbon? Okay, you're back on.
Yes, you could see that I started smiling as soon as you, as you mentioned the first. I mean, from where you started. We are in love with the opium. We are in love with that opium. And you know what the opium is? It's a calculated and deliberate attempt to keep us muted. Now, the process that we are going through here on this discussion, if Vicky Owale mutes me, what the viewers will see will just be the movement of my lips. Anything I'm uttering cannot be heard. And in other words, it cannot be impactful. What you will get is, you know what I mean? So That is the role religion has played, muting us. You cannot think outside the box. And every issue has to be thrown back to the man upstairs to sort out. Be contented with your situation. Tomorrow would be better. And then there is also a conscious effort to ensure that you don't have a direct interface with even that man upstairs. Somebody has to come in between you. Well, you have some divergent views even from the pulpit on that here and there. But that is where we have found ourselves. And for as long as it is effective, for as long as it is playing the role it is designed to play, we will still be doing this. Sorry, it's raining here. I don't know if you guys have that's luxury up there. It's raining and I need to run out of the rain. But outside that, to what's the other issue, the other question that you asked. Hello, sorry, rain is driving me.
Yeah,
At least we enjoy that bit. Yes. Wale, please quickly remind me of the second one.
The second part was around from change to next level. You know, the APC campaign on change in 2015.
Well, I am
to change. So what really went
I am
wrong
not a
with all
member
their
of that
promises?
party. Hello, I am not a member of that party. And I won't claim to be a member of any party for that matter. But those slogans, those promises were meant to be broken. They were designed to be broken. They were not things thought out to actually impact on the lives of people. They are vote-catching phrases. So if we still believe that they really were serious about those things, no, they were to capture votes. The ultimate was, and then after getting power, what do you do with it? I'm sorry, you may have some noise in the background, right? But it's just as I told you, I'm in the Rotary gathering.
I can see all the adire.
But there are things just meant to catch votes. And when you have seized power, when you have captured power, either by legal or illegal means, then think of what.
We've lost Egbon there, and we can see that. Okay, look, I will go to Elvis now. Elvis, you want to add a few points around the religion question, and also could you, after that, could you add your final word, especially the way forward in your views towards restoring the lost glory? Over to you, Elvis.
Thank you, Wale. Yeah, so I know this is a very sensitive one, the religious part of the discussion, but you know, we can't shy away from saying, you know, how we feel objectively, not with the intention of offending anybody or sounding rude. Now, you see, that's a very big one. What religion? It's funny how the whites brought religion to us, introduced God to us, and now it appears we know God more than the same white people who introduced God to us. When I was in the UK, in Scotland, months back, when I was in Scotland, something was very caught my attention, very prominent in the area that I lived at the time. I noticed, you know, most of the churches had either, some of them have been sold or even converted to pubs where people go to drink. yeah, because you know there was people were no longer attending those facilities, and it was costing the government to keep them. So what did they do? They sold them off. So, but when you look at what's happening back home, honestly, I've said it repeatedly here, and I'm not going to get tired of saying it. You know, our people have been so pauperized that they now resort to God for help because their leaders have failed them. Their leaders have disappointed them. Their leaders have taken them for a ride. The only other being they can place their hope on and trust on is God, the Almighty. And that's why you see them going to church, you know, praying every now and then, praying for things that they can actually do for themselves if they put in enough efforts. And then what happens? The minister or the GO or whoever they are also, you know, in some instances will worsen their situation by actually ripping them off. I know of a story. I know of a guy. I read of a story of someone who was working at Sheraton Hotel back in the days. This guy stole the hotel blinds, stole the hotel ceiling. And where was he taking that money? To the church. You know, he will steal from the organization that gave him a job to do and take the money to the church. So for some pastors or some general overseers, is actually, you know, it's for them it's a business, it's a way of life. Whereas these other ones who go to church, the ordinary individuals, believe God and they think they're worshiping God in truth and the spirit, and they see these pastors and the viewers as their spiritual, fathers, and what happens? Some of them get taken advantage of. So it's just a question of, you know, people being disappointed and having lost hope in the system, and you know they turn to God for His mercies. So it's not just, you know, people not wanting to do the right thing. They probably think, yeah, that's how they can get the help they need because man has failed them. They then turn to God. So it's a really big issue, and that's why, you know, it's sensitive one that one needs to be careful where and when you discuss it and the things you say as well. Like, you know, on social media, or you dare not say anything silly, they come for you. You know, you start hearing comments like, "Oh, touch not my prophet and do my, you know, my whatever, no harm."
My prophet
Start
no
putting
harm.
different verses. My prophet no harm. Yeah, so that's on that one. Yeah. My final words. Now I feel like I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, but I'm not going to shy away because I feel that way. I'm just going to say it the way it is and the way I feel. In all of this, I still believe in restoring lost glory. Everything comes down to us having that conversation. I know I've said this, you know, every so often, but that's the way I feel. I mean, like who was it that mentioned that someone said, you know, we'll review the constitution, a constitution that was given to us by whom? You know, we actually need to sit down, have a national dialogue on how we're going to move the country forward. That's the only way. Anyone who has a genuine intention of seeing the country not collapse, of seeing the country getting back on its feet, of seeing the country restoring its lost glory, will want to have that genuine conversation. We'll need to sit down and talk. And that's how problems are solved. That's how issues are resolved. That's how solutions are sought, by talking. We can never do enough. You know, it can never be too much. So that's a good way to start. We need to start having that conversation, especially now that it appears the country is on the brink of collapse. You know, it's a reasonable place to sit down and say, okay, how can we fix this? What's really going on? How do we address it? Why are they angry? Let's sit down. Let's talk. So we need to have that genuine conversation to restore our lost glory, to engender peace within our polity and to get people to be happy again. We need to talk.
Thank you, Elvis. And for me, before I hand over to Vicky, I remember Vicky, said earlier that we've told ourselves lies for so many years, and we believed, those lies, those narratives for so many years, like we are the best in Africa, and I think that's part of the arrogance. I remember the first time that I challenged that was in my early years in university, in early 90s. A friend of mine, Ade Abanigbe, his father, Alaji Abanigbe, may God bless his soul, was living in Port Novo at the time. And we had doing one of the lockdown strikes. And then he was going back to Port Novo to spend some time with his dad. And I was able to convince my parents that I would go over there. So that was my first time of actually visiting another country. So I went to Port Novo in Benin Republic. And that was the first time I actually challenged some of the things, about Nigeria. That was the first time I saw this interlocking concrete road. That was the first time I saw that we were still using bitumen and whatever. That was the first time I saw this interlocking concretes in Port Novo. And I saw how tidy, how everything was, how they had this card for paying electricity bills and gas and everything. And I saw a better society than, the country. I grew up in the South. I've been to Lagos. I've had families, even though I'm originally from Ogun State, but I have families in the entire Southwest that we've traveled around. And that was the first time I challenged that. Are we really, really bad? I was there for 2 weeks and I moved around. And we tried to talk to some girls. They were joking. We were popular. They thought we are. They call us that Lagos boys. They thought they know we are from India. But then obviously I wasn't paying too much attention to my French teacher. I couldn't speak French, so we couldn't really get along well with the girls because they were speaking French. we were speaking in English. So I thought I should have paid more attention to my French teacher in secondary school. But that was just that was the case, and I challenged that. And again, the point I'm making is that we need to start to challenge that, and we need to start to learn from other countries. We need to learn from even Rwanda. We might not agree with everything the president has done, but he has been able to transform the country. We need to be able to learn from Botswana and some of other, even Benin Republic. Today, the president was still talking, or yesterday was still talking about helping Mali with their security. And I said, are you for real? He was still talking about trying to help Mali to solve some security challenges and still being this big brother in Africa. I said, your country is on fire, Mr. President. You're still talking about, trying to help, Mali. So that would be my, forget about the arrogance, put the arrogance away. There's a lot to learn from other people. We've been able to support them. And in the past, I'm sure many of them will be able to support us in our time of need. So that is my final word. And I'll hand over to Vicky.
I always forget that. Yeah. Thank you, Wale. Thank you so much for coming on and for us having this chat. And thank you, Elvis. It's been another great evening. We had lots of people watching us, and there have been some comments that I've shared earlier on. It's a continual conversation that we will need to keep having, whether we like it or not. And yes, solutions do come from talks like this. It's just unfortunate, over 200 million people, until you leave Nigeria and you get to the next point and look around, that's when you know that, wow, they've been telling us lies. Why did I have to get to Swaziland to know that, whoa, they've been telling us lies? Then I got to South Africa. I'm like, oh my gosh, this now Ilu now, So it is hard for people to understand that where we are right now is not where we're supposed to be, because we are great. And for us to maintain that greatness, there are things we need to keep doing. Even in businesses, there are, businessmen, especially this day and age, what they do is different from the way they used to do it. People now do collaboration. Oh, I work on this area, but if I can connect with Elvis to come on board and we can be greater together instead of me doing all these things. Elvis is so good at this point. If we can work together, so that in the past people used to be so scared. Oh, he's gonna steal my idea. He's going to do this. They are not doing that anymore because they each for individually we want to be great, but we can be greater when we connect with others that have the same kind of dream and we can share and learn from one another. The pride, I think it's enough. It's damaged us enough. It is high time we put that into where it's supposed to be and then learn from all these people. How are they doing it? What can we do to be able to resolve all these problems that we've been having? Um, what can you teach us? How can we learn from you? There are better ways we can do things. It starts with this conversation, 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 and then we take steps. Um, Religion is a big problem. Something needs to be done. People need to start working on themselves and not suspending their brain because they want to practice faith. You know, God has given us this. Let us use it. Yes, we pray, we have faith, but we still need to use this. So all these problems we are having, it can be easily resolved. So it's been another great evening. Egbon, do you have last words for us, please? Can you unmute?
Rotary, etc., etc. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I say I'm sorry about all these distractions.
No, sir.
It's the rain, Rotary, and all that. But we really need to get our acts together. We need to know that yes, I pray a lot. But I know that I'm expected to do a few things of my own, and then leave room for blessings of God to do this. We need to be watchful. I said it the last time. The local government elections is just around the corner. Signs, body language, things happening. I must tell you, it's not showing that we have learned anything. Unfortunately, it's not showing that we have learned anything. We'll probably just end up having the same situation where the party in power fills up the seats, and it's a prelude to what to expect in 2023 when people want to grab it all at all costs, not minding what the people feel, not mind the mood of the nation. I just hope and pray that we are still an indivisible entity by that time. Otherwise, I pray that we do not go the way of some other nations. We want peace, we want progress, but I hope we'll be able to find great leadership at the end of the day so that we can get out of the wilderness. Right now, it's like a 40-day trip turning to 40 years.
40 days turning into 40 years. May God help us. May God help us. Thank you, Egbo, for that. And thank you for joining us despite your busy schedule. We'll be back again next Saturday. And we pray we get out of this lockdown. We have 7 days lockdown. So Thursday we'll be out by God's grace.
Sorry guys, sorry about that. Sorry.
At least you've showed us Abeokuta, I mean, that's a mini holiday for me. I mean, looking at those green leaves,
that's
lovely, serene place.
That's
Okay.
I promise you, whenever I'm in Nigeria, I'll come and fellowship with you at your club.
Please come to Abeokuta and have fun.
Definitely, and we will be drinking
at your club. Are you at Abeokuta all the time? Or?
No.
Because of my radio program, I come in here every week. I do the program and go back to Lagos.
All right. So, where is your district? Is that in Lagos or in Abeokuta? I mean, your Rotary district.
My road is Lagos. It's Lagos.
Okay.
Lagos, but of course it covers Abeokuta as well. It's Lagos and Ogun. 9110. So glad to be speaking with my fellow Nigerian.
Elvis, you know,
get Vicky and Wale into Rotary for God's sake.
I've asked him now. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Elvis doesn't care.
Me, I'm a comrade. I love Rotary, but I just want to remain doing my comrade stuff.
I want to be a member. I want to be a member.
Wow. Okay, fine.
I want to be a member.
Let Elvis do it. Let Elvis do his own bit. And I'm going to also make you a distant member of my own club.
That would be good. I don't mind. And you know, Elvis and Wale, you know, Egbo also have this palm wine company.
Yes, it's called the Mushobam. And we're actually drinking it at the Rotary conference there.
Mushobam. I like that name. So maybe for your club now, your Igbo club, we can import some.
That would be great.
Elvis, it's busy. All right.
What do you want to import? What do you want to import?
Now, you know the palm wine.
Oguro.
No, is it the same as Oguro? Palm wine.
Palm wine. Palm wine.
Palm wine, the white one. You don't know palm wine.
Oguro, the same thing.
So guys, kindly excuse me, I've got to run.
All right. Yeah, we're finished. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to everyone. Bye. Thank you, Egbon. Thank you, Wale. Thank you, Elvis. We will come together and do this again on Saturday. Hopefully, we'll catch up before then. Thank you for everyone joining us. God bless you all. Have a lovely, lovely Sunday. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.